to you my department head. 1 hour filing of the building permit online. I presented it in Pampanga when I was with the League of Cities of the Philippines, and his name is Flor, not Contemplacion, because that brings you to Singapore, but Flor Catalan. And then, of course, Alhambra, Neda. Bringing Neda to my recollection, because I've been mayor for 2 terms. Then the mayor was my vice mayor. Then I became mayor. Then I was his vice mayor. He died. So I ended up an EM, ascended mayor. Then with May came EM, elected mayor. Now I made a pronouncement very clearly before June 12 that I am an IM. You know what is an IM? Independent mayor. Bernard,
Yes, sir.
so do not abuse me, help me. There's no more political influence locally that will bring me to decide. But rather, what is good for the people of the city of Cebu, I will do it with utmost unquestionable prudence, unquestionable political will. Singapore like Cebu City is not my vision, not my vision. It is collective aspiration. Those who are hopeful, who love this country, who believe in God, and who really have faith in this country. So you are here. If you invest in Cebu City, connect with these people. And if you need help from the city government, my number, keep it now. 0917 328 4711. I will repeat. 0917 328 4711. Don't call me, but I will still answer if it's ringing. But my wife usually bring my cell phone somewhere so that I don't have to be bothered. But the next day I will return because that is my mission. My mission is to serve. My passion is to serve. My everything is my family. My adrenaline is with you. You are my boss. I am your servant. Magandang hapon, bayan. Magandang hapon, Cebu City. You are all continuously welcome. And the final note, we are preparing with President of the Sinulog Foundation, and I'm the Vice President with all the contractors helping. We are now preparing Sinulog Philippines, Sinulog sa Sugbo, Philippines, 2024. Activities had commenced last May, then it goes up, and peak on January. Bring your own airplane. Bring your money for accommodation. Hit Cebu City. We all are here because you are our friend. You've got a friend in us. Good afternoon. Kukoy, over there. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, the Mayor of Cebu City, Mayor Mike Rama. Thank you very much, sir, for gracing us.
This meeting is being recorded.
today, and that to be transformative is means to change and to be more innovative. And we've heard that from NEDA. We've heard the digitalization from OBO. We've heard PICAB's digitalization as well, and in all the other successes that the other speakers have told us. So while we're waiting for you to generate your questions, I have a question, and I hope Ricky Dakay will indulge me. I know Ricky wears a lot of hats. So I'd like to request Ricky and Engineer Willigo, if you can indulge me. I have a question for Ricky as a contractor, and of course a question to Engineer Willigo as a contractor as well. We've made mention, and Willie has mentioned in his talk, I know for a personal fact that Ricky is also a catalyst of change. Both your construction companies have employed so much dynamism and change in your methodologies, not just in construction, but also in business and also management of your business. If there was probably 3 or 4 sentences or a paragraph that you can tell us how or why this happened, can you share to us, please? Maybe I can start with Ricky Dakay.
You're going to age.
Okay, so maybe we can start with age thou before beauty. So
My boss.
I am the oldest here
yes.
as president, past president.
Okay. So maybe just
What will I say?
maybe if
If I'll sing 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
No, one
I
song.
was saying, like, both construction companies, of course, not to also isolate primary structures, but right now as contractors here in the panel, WTG Construction and Dakay Construction Development, both of your companies have actually evolved over time, not just in construction methodology, but also construction management and business practices as a whole. If there was a paragraph or a sentence or two that you can say on how or why the other CEOs can get inspiration from, what would it be?
You should be very innovative. Creative, maarte na, makulit pa. Thank you.
Ricky, may we ask some words from you?
Yeah, my approach is very theoretical. No. So I draw back from my graduate school education. In the 60s, the definition of a project is a unique activity, a unique one-time activity, which consumes resources, consumes time, and has to follow specifications. So that's why the concept of a project was always something custom built. But then in the 80s, when I was in graduate school, there were attempts to manage certain aspects of a project as a process. Because there are some generic components in any project, whether it be different from one project to another. So it started the management of a project as a process. Afterwards came systems engineering, and so we manage a project as a system and try to marry the generic processes from the what we call are the unique features that are endemic to a project. And then recently came the buzzword of lean manufacturing. So lean manufacturing is really the way to go. It's really the way to go for the future. It actually incorporates the strong process, the strong theoretical constructs of process, but it also incorporates the importance of craftsmanship and the sublimeness of what a quality output is for a unique undertaking. So it has to be a marriage. So before we analyze a project as the parts of the whole, if you look at the 90s reasoning, we tried synergy was the buzzword. That we usually say that the product is just project is the sum of the parts. But if you go have synergy, then the whole is more than the sum of the parts. But nowadays, because our approach is lean manufacturing and systems, our approach is not to manage the sum of the parts of the whole, but the product of the interactions. So in anything multiplicative is always more productive and more efficient than anything additive. So the buzzword for management right now in construction is to manage interactions, not to add the sum of the parts. So if you want to succeed, that's how to do it. But again, like I said, um, it has to, at the end of the day, what matters is the choices that we make. And the more competent choices we make, the better off we are. And when we talk about choice, it's not just a choice that is analytical or mechanistic in nature. It is also a choice that is compatible and congruent to God. That's most important for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Ricky Dakay, Engineer Willie Go. I think we have questions on the floor. Sir, go ahead. You can get the microphone in front of you if you like.
Sirs, a question regarding innovations. No, artificial intelligence, is this something going to affect our construction industry?
Yeah, may I ask Dr. Ricky Dakay? You can.
Yeah, in the 80s, the 80s is the birth of AI. Okay, they were actually adjuncts or aids to decision making. What is an AI actually? It's just a complicated algorithm. Yeah. What is an algorithm if you really place it in reductionist terms? It's just a flow chart. But the more complex a problem that you solve, the more that you interact your algorithms together. That's the programming landscape. It all starts with an algorithm. But there was a book before. It was called The Emperor's New Clothes. Why? Because AI will never replace the gray matter between your ears. No creation can be smarter or better than its creator. So you don't need to be afraid of chatbot, ChatGPT, and all of that. Draw back to the gray matter between your ears. Use it. Don't be swayed by social media and all of that. Because that's all the emperor's new clothes. Yeah. Before, I was so impressed with myself because I did a 15,000 line program. I made a program what happens to a structure after it buckles. It's supposed to fail. But if you look at reality, a structure does not fail after buckling. Yeah. Sometimes it even gathers strength after buckling. But let's go back to AI. Yeah, the algorithms right now are becoming more complex and complex. But at the end of the day, remember that it's just a product of a human being or a group of human beings. And no matter how you compile your AI, at one point in time, it's going to blow up because even though how good you are at compiling and all of that, your AI, it's only built by man. There is always an error introduced. That's why you reboot your phones and all of that. It's because that there will always be an inherent error uh, in our compilation of any algorithm that we make. Maybe we can trace it to our original sin, our forefathers, and all of that. That will never be perfect, no. But that's just the way it is. That's what the way it will affect us. It will actually help us become more productive and more efficient. I believe in AI. I believe that this is now the dawn of BIM here in the Philippines, and hopefully it will catch up. But I do not believe that AI will replace us. It's here to help us. It's here to make us more productive, more efficient. It's here to help us, but it will never replace us. And again, it boils down to choices. We go back to keywording. If I say atom, what is your keyword? Bomb. In the 86 when I was in graduate school, I was asked to take behavioral how should I say this behavioral research because my EQ was zero. So they wanted to reinforce my emotional quotient, and it's really association. If you look at chat GPT, a lot of that is association. That's keywording, buzzwording. Yeah. So it's really, and then that's where the error lies, you know, because not all words associated with atomic is bomb. Not all. It's just that majority of that will say bomb right away because that's all there is to it, you know. But it will really make our lives more convenient. But how we use it as a bomb, or we use it to help to incorporate it into our genomes for better food production. That's up to us. It's all up to us. Yeah. And choice will always be a matter of competence and trust in the grace of God. Let me repeat that again. Thank you.
Go ahead, Sir Joe. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I would like to relate the observation I had when I was in Melbourne 2 months ago, and we were toured by the people of ICTSI to the Victoria Port that they managed, you know, and the one who contracted it for them was a company called BMD, one of the biggest contractors there in Melbourne. And when we saw the whole thing, it was fully mechanized, digitalized and everything like that. That's probably the technology applied to it. And then I asked the people from ICTS, are you doing the same for Manila Port, for example? And of course, the very practical answer was saying, we have so much people in back home. So, I mean, sharing that observation, I guess, call me old-fashioned, giving the options that are with us. For so long as you do not lose out on your efficiencies, you try to make the most of the assets that you have. So the people asset factor is something, not you're just providing the need, an opportunity, but you're enhancing the very availability of an asset and harnessing it and putting it productive use, rather than having to resort to something. Yeah, it might be a good option in the long pool. It could be rewarding financial or otherwise, but we have to look at a lot of intangibles on that. So you have to see where you are and looking at the choice. And Enrique was saying about the choice that you have to make, and I think it will be very prudent on our part. Maybe the way I look at it in the short or even the medium term, that we have to harness on the asset that we have. And I look at the human capital here. No, I think Wally also put that as part of his 5 goals or missions in his business. Yeah, that's what I could share at this point.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Joe. We have time for like 2 more questions. Go ahead, Charles.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, as in the construction industry, I think one of the biggest challenges we face is really rising cost. Cost to construct, and probably it's connected with labor as well, labor cost. But there's also the benefit of that for the employees. But what is the biggest consideration for a contractor or a developer moving forward, knowing that these are the market conditions we're facing in the recent times? So maybe anybody who can share their thoughts, because that's actually a concern with a lot of contractors and developers.
Anyone would like to?
It's how you read things, and what's your risk appetite. And well, cost is always going to be a variable, no matter what. So in the landscape of evaluating opportunities, you have to say for yourself, is the market big enough? And by being so confident in in penetrating or even servicing the target market, you have more flexibility on how you will address costs. No? So familiarity, level of confidence, looking at yourself on what you really is your strength. So in establishing the product that you have. But I'm sure you have that option wide open. You could also feel confident on a particular line because you've been at it for a bit. No? So you can be more aggressive moving forward. But definitely, if you face that kind of a scenario, to go to something new, that becomes more uh, not just challenging, but at the same time, it makes you set back a bit and think that that might not be the right product for you at the right time. So that's the way I would like to assess it, no, just like any other businessman would.
Thank you. Yeah. Any more? Last question? Yeah. Yes. Mr. Hong.
Thank you. This goes out to all the CEOs now because it's a CEO forum. I'd like to sort of get into your mind about one particular skill that you cannot delegate as a CEO. No, that there's a reason why you're still running your company today. What's that one skill that you just cannot delegate? It goes to anyone that can answer. Thank you.
Yeah, aside from you being a husband to your wife, what are the other things that you cannot delegate? Because that much I'm sure. So again, maybe we can start with age and work your way back.
It's not really a decision. It's a type of in general. I think those of us who are built to delegate. There are some orgs that do not delegate too, you know? But those who do and continue to succeed. My basic observation is that anything new, you do it yourself first. Typically, there's the three types of teams, you know? The baseball team, the jazz band. You know? Usually, the the ones that in the old organizations where you have a manual and everything is just uh, everything just happens the same way. Those are monopolies. But today, when they're broken down with so much competition, all that, there's always something new. By and large, I think the modern CEO has to be the main hunter. Um, if you're a gatherer, you're the COO, which I think many of you are child of owner, but the real COO holds the fort. That's the I's, cross the T's, those are that. But when you, a new client, you vet that payment habits, future risks, things like that. You cannot verbalize or or foresee all of that. So anything new, you typically need to do it, and you lead by example. Thereafter, it's now called a precedent, so they can follow. I'm just saying in a general way because if they wanted to be CEOs themselves, they'd start their own business already. So, hope that's it.
Anything else? Maybe Engineer Willie? Would you like to add something to the question of second gen?
For me, I give it all to my son, COO. It depends upon them how they move on. I just observe. I want them to make a mistake instead of going to higher education, master's degrees. I don't care if I lose money because that's part of my tuition fee for them. That's my idea. I delegate them. They manage. I don't care. I just observe. I just be the inspector.
of any said project that was given to them to manage.
Thank you. Ricky, maybe, then Joe after.
I cannot delegate acumen because it is the sum total of my intelligence, it is the sum total of my personality, my behavioral characteristics. It is the sum total of what makes me a unique individual. I can delegate my intelligence. I can delegate some aspects of my acumen, but I cannot delegate my acumen as I look at it from a holistic point of view.
Okay. Sir Joe?
Well, I cannot delegate my dreams, because you could share it. That's uniquely mine. I cannot expect, say, my children, the second generation, to exactly follow the dream that I have, because at their own time they will aspire for something. I think generally what they could say is that, Dad, you started something that you want us to continue, and it could come in a different course, and I will have to respect that. No, that's something that I, as a father, or even a father to my company, would want to share of my aspirations and my dreams. But in the end of it, it's still the entire body who will have to chart its own course. No, and the same is true for the children and the next generation. And for that, I am glad that's the natural way things should go or should move, because that's how uniquely we are built as individuals, and as a collective whole. This group that who will go after us will make sure that they will, in a way, look at us, as a founder or the one who started the dream, that one day that dream will fall short.
Thank you. Thank you very much. A lot of applause for everyone. I think that pretty much sums up. No, I mean, but if you do want to know more about, I think your question was really geared towards the first and second generation thing, but also the answers were very broad to be able to understand that delegation might mean also the non-family managers that are in your business right now. But if you do want to know about first, second-hand generation, transition and all, we have another forum tomorrow at 9:00. I forgot the name of the room, but it's in the Coral, which is somewhere here. Anyway, that's for a different organization meeting. But I know that there's just still so many questions. We're really running short of time. We have a part 2 session right now. But we'd like to ask somebody to do a wrap up, no? But before that, I think everyone else would also like to ask that same question to their spouses and their daughters on how these CEOs are as bosses and as spouses. I know, that's right. So the real CEO in the family is the wife, right? Yeah, that's right. So without further ado, I'd like to just ask our Techno Forum chair, Madam Leslie Villanueva, and probably the future first lady president of PCA, to please come up on stage and give us a wrap up. Warm round of applause, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So I've been giving the very hard task of wrapping up such an informative session. Don't you agree? There's so many thoughts, so many ideas. I thought it was just like making a book report in school, but here it's very different because it comes from different backgrounds, different experiences. So I'll try my best. So CCA did a really amazing job in curating this panel, no? Because all of their expertise, all of their knowledge actually synergizes and it has a common purpose. So let's start with what our representative from NEDA said, si Ma'am Alhambra. So she told us a lot about the spatial development vision of NEDA for for this region. She told us about the network of urban centers and how they are focusing the development of the 3 metropolitan centers in the country. And then the main objective of this is, of course, to have efficient services through strategic linkages. And then next, we have our representative from the Office of the Building Official, Architect Catalan. And he told us about smart city technologies, sustainable building practices, and the main objective, of course, is the efficiency of services through innovation and digital transformation. So he told us about how they are aiming to shorten the process because everybody here knows time is money. No more time spent is more money spent, and we want to be more efficient in our work. And then next we have Dr. Dakay from PCAB, who gave us a very good background on regularization. Why is it important? Why do we need to regulate our processes? Why do we need PCAB in our industry? And he said something about creating a fair, a level playing field so that everybody in our industry can cooperate and also compete. And his objective, or PCAP's objective, is the efficiency of services through the implementation of the true objective of regularization or standardization. And then we have our engineer Willie Go from WTG. So he said more about his experience in contracting in public infrastructure. And if you notice from these 4 speakers, we see the process of construction of our industry or even our economy. First, you plan from NEDA, the process of planning. So you need to maximize your resources and promote efficient use of funds. So we cannot build before we know where we want to go. Are you familiar with the movie Field of Dreams? Nabutan niyo ba yun? Diba? Kevin Costner. So the famous line there is, if you build it, they will come. So I think this is true, not just for, it's not as simplistic as if you build something, visitors will come, but it is more comparable, I think, to how we need to prepare our infrastructure or our facilities to be able to serve the nation. So before we do that, we can't just build. We need to plan first. And then next, we need to regulate. That's why we have OBO here and PCAB to ensure cooperation and fair competition. And then the next step is we have to implement. And then once these plans are in place and the permits are issued, then all systems go for construction. And this in terms economic activity. So when we make sure that we have the right infrastructure, the right facilities, represented, of course, by our public infrastructure contractors, then we have opportunities for growth. And then this is signified by the participation of the private sector. So private projects boom because they have facilities or infrastructure to support them. And when they see opportunities in the region, in the nation, then they are more confident in the risks that they are taking in the market. So when there is growth in private, there is also growth in employment, household consumption, and then it all connects. Paikot-ikot lang yan. And then we have a robust economy. So when all of these factors connect together, then we really maximize our opportunities for growth. And that's what Mayor Rama said earlier. We have a collective aspiration. And what is our collective aspiration? We want to build the nation. So for growth, we want the proper planning, the proper regularization, and then the proper implementation. And then we have what Sir Wally Liu and Sir Joe Soberano said, when when you want to innovate, when you want to grow, you need to be creative, you need not just deliver the products that you are used to delivering, you also have to diversify. And they term diversification as an increase in volume, a diversification of your product line, and also to broaden your market segments. And if you have these opportunities, if you can see these opportunities in the market, that means you are in the prime position for growth, and you are in the prime position to support and to take care of your assets, which are the core of the construction business, which the people or our employees. And if you take care of your employees, then they will take care of your business. And that's what you call malasakit in Tagalog. So I'm not sure if there is a Cebuano term for malasakit, because there is no English term for that. But it means that if you take care of the real assets, then they will also take care of you, and then your business will grow. So, so I guess to wrap it, to connect all of it, to be able to achieve this collective aspiration of nation building, then we don't just build it, we need to build it right. And we need to know the steps that we need to take. So that's why we want to thank our panelists for blazing the trail and being a good example to all of us here in showing us.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, then.
So we're asking Leslie Villanueva, representing Technoforum, chairperson in Technoforum, Philconstruct, Manila. We also were asking Jigger Cañedo, the president of Cebu Contractors Association.
This meeting is being
From the
recorded.
Cebu Contractors Association is presented to the various guest speakers here. In recognition of their valuable support to the association as panelist speaker to the first CEO Forum Part 1, Tomorrow's Cities Today, real estate CEOs discuss transformative projects shaping the future of Cebu. During the Philconstruct Visayas 2023, held on June 22 to 24 at the Waterfront Cebu City Hotel and Casino, given this 22nd day of June 2023 at the Cebu City, Cebu, Philippines. Signed, Francis Gerard S. Cañedo, President. So may we ask, in behalf of Director Dolores Molintas, may we ask Maria Teresa Alhambra, please, to come up in front.